This is a nigun for the month of Av. This is the last Shabbat in the month of Av before we enter into Elul. So I invite you to let this nigun transition you from the rest of your week into Shabbat. And when you pick up the tune, please join me. Taking a few deep breaths.
thinking back on the week that has come and gone. Around here, it was the last week before schools start. There was a lot of laminating. So a lot of laminating and a lot of joy and excitement and looking forward to classrooms filled. We welcome the angels. Shalom Aleichem, page 11.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. V'melech Malachei Amlakim Makadosh Baruch Hu. Bothem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. V'melech Malachei Amlakim Makadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nile Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. V'melech Malachei Hamlachim Makadosh Baruch Hu. V'tzeitem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. V'melech Malachei Hamlachim Akadosh Baruch Hu.
So as you may know, I had the pleasure of being at my sister's camp, the camp that she runs for part of this summer up in Washington State. It was beautiful. It was magical. It was so wonderful to be there. And one of the things that you do if you're a relative grown up at camp is you invite the Israelis to come stay with you because they come to work for the summer and then they travel. So I have the great pleasure right now of hosting Nicole and Adi here from Israel, spending all summer working at one of our URJ camps. And I'd like to ask you two to please come light the candles for us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Yedid Nefesh, page 8.
Ay, 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 Eretz Eretzona, Eretzona, Oyarus ata, Kemo ayishtachabe, El mulagara, mulagara. Oh yeah, no, ikiduta minofetsu vechota ay 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Adonai Siva Olam Nafshi Cholat Avataf Avataf O Adonai Refadana Arola Non ziva, non ziva. Oh, titrante, titrante, haitala, shipatola. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay.
Turning to Kabbalat Shabbat, the Psalms that bring us through the week and into Shabbat, page 20.
La Adonai, Nariad, so you shenu. La Adonai, Nariad, so you shenu. Dekad ma bana betoda, is mi rod narialo. Dekad ma bana betoda, is mi rod narialo. Dekad bana la donai. Naria, it's so you shade. The phone about the la don't Naria, it's so you shade. They got my fana betoda, this me wrote Naria no. Nekat ma fana betoda, bismirot nariano. Two, three, four. Until la dona shir chadash, shiru la dona kola aretz, shiru la dona baruch shemo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato, shiru la dona kola aretz, shiru la dona shir chadash. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basru Meyom Leyom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Chadash, ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay.
As you know, TIOH experienced the trauma of October 7th personally for so many, and especially through our connection to the Manzouri family, whose two daughters were killed at the Nova Music Festival. And some of you have gone with Rabbi Michelle to the Nova exhibit that's here in town. I was not able to go to that. I haven't been able to go yet, but I heard from several people how powerful it was. And in particular, as Siggy and Menashe, the parents of those two young women, took everybody through. So I hear they were not talking about vengeance. They were not talking about winning a war. They were not talking about nationalism and aggression. They were talking about light and love, wanting to see that in the world. More light, more love, even after trauma, even in the face of grief. Light and love. Or Zarua, a light shines for the righteous. Page 24.
Oh, oh, Zarua la, 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 Sadi. Oh, oh, Zarua la, 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 Sadi. Uyishrele simcha, Uyishrele simcha, Uyishrele simcha. Live a life of goodness, be the righteous one. Live a life of kindness, be the righteous one. Live a life of holiness, be the righteous one. And let your heart shine out. Oh, Zarua la, 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 Sadi. Oh, oh, Zarua la, 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 Sadi. Uyishrele simcha, Uyishrele simcha, Uyishrele simcha, simcha, simcha. Page 25. Zamru ladonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra. והחוצרות בקול שופר. הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, יירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביה. נהרות ימחאוך, יחד הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני כי בא, ישפוט הארץ, לשפוט תבל בצדק, ועמים במישרים. יירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביה. נהרות ימחאוך, יחד הרים ירננו.
Turning to Lachado D, page 29.
לחדותי לקראת כלה, ילדי, 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 בני שבת, לקבלה. לחדותי לקראת כלה, ילדי, 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 בני שבת, לקבלה. Shamor and Zachor, Leibor Achai, Ishmianu, El Hayachai, Adonai Achai, Shamor Achai, the Shemot Tiferet, Belitila, the Chadori, Takala, Yanada, 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 Bnei Shabbat. Kabbalat, Nechadoni likatala, yalala, 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 bnei Shabbat. Kabbalat, likrat Shabbat, etudenecha, b'mekor habracha. בראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לחדוני לקראת כלה, ילדי, 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 בני שבת. לקבלה, לחדוני לקראת כלה, ילדי, 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 בני שבת. לקבלה, מקדש מלך עיר מלכה, נצאית מתוך חפצה, רמלה שבת במקומך, והוא ישמור עלייך חמלה. לחדוני כלה, ילדי, 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 בני שבת. לקבלה, לחדוני כלה, ילדי, 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 בני שבת. לקבלה, התנערי מעפר ומי, לפתיתי תפארתך מי, אל ירגיש בני, קרבה על נפשי גאלה. לחדוני לקראת כלה, ילדי, 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 בני שבת. לקבלה, לחדוני לקראת כלה, ילדי, 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 בני שבת. לקבלה, התנערי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. Lechadori Katala Yanana 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 B'nai Shabbat Lekabela Lechadori Katala Yanana 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 B'nai Shabbat Lekabela Lechadori Likrat Kana B'nai Shabbat lekabela lo תבושי ולא תקלי מה תשתוכחי ומתכם מפח יחסו אני עמי ונבנתה עירתי לה לך דודי תקרת לה Shabbat lekabela ay behayulik shita so sai berasatu kol mevalai yasi salai Elohai kim sofatan atala lechadodi Bihrakala B'nai Shabbat Tekabela Ay Aminu Smol Tirutzi ve'et Adonai Ta'ariti al Yarish Ben parti ben nismecha ben akila lechadodi likrat kala b'nai Shabbat lekabela Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzolato emune am segula boi chala echadodi Itatala B'nai Shabbat lekabela B'nai Shabbat lekabela Shabbat nekabela.
Page 31.
טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, כי שימחת ריח במעשיך, במעשה ידיך, אררני. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Please rise, page 36.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
With wisdom, you opens heaven's gates. With understanding, you make the ages pass and the seasons alternate, and order the stars on their appointed path through heaven's firmament, all according to your will. Creator of day and night, who rolls light away from darkness and darkness from light, who causes day to pass and brings on the night, separating day from night. Adonai commands the hosts of heaven. May the living and eternal God rule us always to the end of time. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall.
Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ari baravim.
Amen. Day and night we will meditate on your laws, for they are our life and the length of our days. Then your love shall never depart from our hearts. Praised are you, O God, who loves the people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך.
Walt Whitman writes, "Who makes much of a miracle? As to me, I know nothing else but miracles. Whether I walk the streets of Manhattan or dart my sight over the roofs of houses toward the sky, or wade with naked feet along the beach just in the edge of the water, or stand under trees in the woods, or talk by day with anyone I love, or sleep in the bed at night with anyone I love, or sit at the table at dinner with my mother, or look at strangers opposite me riding in the car, or watch honeybees busy around the hive of an August forenoon, or animals feeding in the fields, or birds, the wonderfulness of insects in the air, or the exquisite, delicate, thin curve of a new moon in May. To me, every hour of the light and dark is a miracle. Every inch of space is a miracle. Every spear of grass, the frames, the limbs, organs of men and women, and all that concerns them. All these to me are unspeakably perfect miracles. Micha
La 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 Nora, Nora, Tehillah, Tehillah, Oseh, Oseh, Bella, Nora, Nora, Tehillah, Tehillah, Oseh, Oseh, Bella, Malekutecha, Ra'uvanecha, Bokeh Hayam Lifnei Moshe, Teini Alu Ve'ameru, Adonai, Adonai, Yimlo, Yimlo Leolam, Ba'en, Adonai, Adonai, Yimlo, Yimlo Leolam, Ba'en, Be'ne'emar Nifada Adonai, En Yaakov, Dalo, Miyad Chatzar Mimel, Baruch, Baruch, Ata, Adonai, Adonai, Ga'al, Baruch, Baruch, Ata, Ga'al, Israel. I,
We rise for Amidah, beginning on page 44.
Adonai tzuri vegoali. Adonai tzuri vegoali. My God, my rock and my redeemer. Adonai tzuri vegoali.
Turning to Misha Berach, praying for all those who are hurting in body, mind, or soul. There's somebody for whom you're praying for healing, in addition to those on our congregation's Misha Berach list. I invite you to share that name now.
Mark partner. Ana Elna Refanala Ana Elna Refanala Ana Elna Refanala Ana Elna Refanala
So I mentioned last week, I am in this period of preparing for the High Holy Days, and I'm spending some time with the Reform Movement's Machzor prayer book for the holidays, which is not the one we use, but I think everybody should have it on their shelf. It's an incredibly beautiful book, very, very rich, and I'll just tell you one word about it, that it's got the text on one page, and then it's got commentary, often, not always, but commentary on the page opposite. That's how the Reform Movement, we've been doing our prayer books for the last couple of decades. What I really love about this is that often the commentary is in conversation or conflict even with the text itself. So you have the traditional text and it's all there. And then there's often a piece just opposite challenging the what's the word? The sort of, I like to call it the party line of the text. So it's a really very, very deep and beautiful prayer book. So I'm, like I did last week, I'm bringing a couple of texts from that for us to discuss tonight as we are moving toward the high holidays. And I want to ask a couple questions. We'll read, but we'll also talk a little bit. So the first question tonight, I focused on a couple of texts around the shofar, and the shofar service, which is in Rosh Hashanah day, Rosh Hashanah morning. And the first question I want to ask is, what does it mean to you to think of God as our king? That is all over the High Holy Day liturgy. We modernize it a little bit. Maybe we'll say God is our sovereign, God is our ruler. We don't want to be too gender biased, but what it really says all over the place is God is our king. So no right or wrong answers. How does that feel to you? Metaphoric, right? Not literal, right? God is not our king, but it's a metaphor. Good. What else? Uncomfortable, right? Maybe for some of us, it feels uncomfortable. We don't even have royalty, right? It's not even really a metaphor that we live with in our physical worlds anymore. And maybe there's something uncomfortable about God as ruling us in that kind of way. Maybe it's, I'm going to say, you didn't say this, Kathy, but I'm going to say it's like we always say, God is not the old man in the sky, but that's about as close as the metaphor gets to, like, so that doesn't work for a lot of people. Maybe it does for someone else. Yeah, please. Tradition. Okay, so maybe there's something for some of us comforting about knowing that that's been the metaphor of our tradition for a very, very long time. And it meant something to our people all those generations ago. Good. We'll take one more. There's a right way, meaning thinking of God as king is like God is in charge. There's a right way to do everything. There is a right way. And again, I'm going to say that's comforting for some people and troubling for other people. So then the first reading or two come from the Malchuyot, which means the kingship or the sovereignship section of the shofar service. And I find this first one really quite remarkable. So first of all, you have a text that is in the shofar service itself through worthy deeds. Okay, so every shofar service has this part. It is from Zechariah. Through worthy deeds, bring near the day of unity and goodness, a glimpse of perfection. And then a line that also shows up in liturgy, you might know it. Adonai shall reign over all the earth. On that day, God shall be one and God's name shall be one. We say that so often in our services, might not even notice it. And then a philosopher comes along and says the following, wondering what it means on that day. Right? So why does it say on that day, God will be one? If there's one thing we know as Jews, God is one. That's it. That's the first, that's the first thing you got to know. So why does it say someday, on that day, God will be one? That's absurd. Wondering what it means, Henry Slanimsky wrote, maybe God and perfection are at the end and not at the beginning. For how can God be called one? That is, sorry, that's a typo. It should say that is real if humankind is rent asunder in misery and poverty and hate and war. When humankind has achieved its own reality and unity, it will thereby have achieved God's reality and unity. Till then, God is merely an idea, an ideal. The world's history consists in making that ideal real. In simple religious earnestness, it can be said that God does not exist. Until God merely subsists, in the vision of until then, God merely subsists in the vision of a few great people's hearts and exists only in part and is slowly being translated into reality. So what this philosopher is saying in this Malchuyot section is that line, on that day, God will be one and God's name will be one, means like, we're not there yet. What kind of religious people can say we've achieved everything we know about God when, what did he say? Humanity is rent asunder. When I read today's news and I see so much pain in the world, and what he says that is radical, is like, God is not God. We can't even say God while there's this much suffering. I love this idea. What is God? God is a couple people's ideas, a couple brave, strong, leading people. That's where you find God. And it's our job to translate those ideas into reality. And until we do that, God is not God. There's some theology for you to chew on. Okay. Moving on to Maimonides. This is also on Malchuyot. He says, hear the sound of the shofar, he's talking to all of us, you who are caught up in the daily routine, losing sight of eternal truth, you who waste your years in vain pursuits that neither benefit nor save. Now he turns to God. You are everything that we praise you for, slow to anger, quick to forgive. Avinu Malkeinu, may we taste anew the sweetness of each day. Renew for us a year of goodness. And I love this. And the reason that I brought it is this is a big deal for Maimonides. Wake up, right? The sound of the shofar, it says, wake up. You're asleep. You didn't know, but you're asleep. But then he turns to God and he talks about, how we could be more awake in our day. And then he turns to God and says, we need you to help us taste the sweetness of everyday life. But he doesn't say, we need you to make life sweet. We need you so that we can taste the sweetness of life. And, sometimes I picture like humanity and God, we're sort of locked in a battle, like who's going to move first? We need you to make us taste this so we can taste, so that we can pray to you, like we're back and forth, right?
Chicken and the egg.
Right, exactly. Who's praying to who here, right? So even Maimonides, the great philosopher and halachist and theologian, knows that even as we're praying, it's our job. The work is really on us. Next question I want to ask you is, what does it feel like when suddenly you are aware that somebody has remembered you or remembered something about you? Heartwarming. It depends on what they remember. Thank you, Donna. That's true. Great. What else? Validating, right? Like, okay, I actually exist. I exist in your mind. Yeah. Fair point that it could be negative, but I find, and I think for most of us, it's like, it's validating. And like you wonder if they forgot all about you and then they call on your birthday or whatever. And it's like, I still exist for that person, right? I'm still remembered. How good that feels. So here now we're moving to the second section of the shofar service, Zichro notes, which means memories. I just thought this was lovely. The divine awakens within us a sudden awareness of your presence, your meaning God's. Seeing signs of your compassion, we say God remembered. When cruelty and hate diminish, we say God remembered. Surprised by joy, we say God remembered. Overcoming anger, finding strength to forgive, we say God remembered. When we long to be forgiven, we say God remember. Overcome by awe in places of grandeur, we say God remembers. Even when sorrow is in our hearts, we say God will remember. When we remember who we are, we say God will remember. Looking forward to moving deeper into the High Holy Days with you in coming weeks and days. We rise for Aleinu, page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. הקדוש ברוך הוא. והשב אותה אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים. והשב אותה אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים. אין עוד מלבדו, אין עוד אפס זולתו, אין עוד מלבדו, אין עוד אפס זולתו, אחד, אדוני אחד. אחד ושמו אחד, אחד אדוני אחד, אחד ושמו אחד. אין עוד מלבדו, אין עוד אפס זולתו, אין עוד מלבדו, אין עוד אפס זולתו.
Please be seated. Turning to Kadisha Tome, we are remembering, especially tonight, Kevin Carlberg, Eleanor Haber, Maurice Helper, Esther Jacobowitz, Jeffrey Copet, Alex Leopold, Ronald Marsh, Barbara Mazur, Eloise Michaels, Ross Miller, Shayla Moston, Michael Perlin. You know what? Give me one. I can't see that well. So I don't want to get these names wrong. Forgive me. Here we go. Bernard Perlin, Ruth Purcell, Rock Ranson, Mendel Rosenzweig, Alan Rudnick, Ruth Lynn Sandler, Victor Schreiber, Evelyn Shapiro, Eliyahu Schneiderman, William Stone, Shirley Vender, and Marta Cardarelli, who died in recent weeks. If I shared the name of your loved one, or if I did not share the name of a loved one whom you're remembering and you would like to say their name now, I invite you to please rise. If you'd like to rise in support of the mourners, may do so as well. Page 292. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'yemru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba amin shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yemru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru. Amen.
Ose shalom bimroma. Uyase shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Vimru. Vimru. Amen.
A few members of our community were hanging out praying in the library. They're going to come lead Kiddush and Motzi. So give us just a minute. Corral the young people. I think all of them are all of them are starting school on Tuesday. So this is last big weekend. Adrian, come on up. Bring your people. Hold on. They come. Temple of Israel of Hollywood, may I present the extraordinary children of Brisket Elementary School and our community. Come right up. You don't have to do anything. Just help me out. Just stand right here. Lily, you want to hold this nice and hide? You want to hold the Kiddush cup? No? Okay. Yeah. Yes. 2 hands. There we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho ve'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני וקדש השבת.
Say Baruch on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz
בתי
Please rise for Hatikva.
כל עוד בלב הפנימה, נפש יהודי הומייה, ופאתי מזרח קדימה, עין ציון סופיה. עולב תקוותנו, התקווה בת שנות 2000, היא אדם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. היא אדם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים.
Shabbat Shalom.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. Be'ako Yisrael, Be'ako Yoshvei Tevel, Vimru, Vimru, Amen. Yalalai. Shabbat shalom. Thank you, Simon.